The OpenChain project is a very powerful project. We are helping to codify, to explain, to make it easy to adopt the key requirements of quality open source compliance programs. The OpenChain Japan workgroup is a critical part of this. You are the largest workgroup we have, the most active workgroup we have, and one of the most knowledgeable. By sharing your thoughts, your practical experiences, and your practical solutions, you're helping to change open source for the better. Open source is massive. The Linux Foundation is the largest shared technology investment in the world. The projects we maintain have a cost of over 16 billion US dollars to re-engineer. We've trained over 1 million people in our courses, and more than 25,000 people in 85 countries attend our events every year. The size of the Linux Foundation is a reflection of the size and the influence of open source. Open source is absolutely everywhere, and there's one key thing about it. Access to open source is relying on the fact that everyone follows the same rules. We're sharing code, we're collaborating around code, and we're able to do that because we have clear and easily understandable rules. Compliance is critical to getting value from open source. And OpenChain is critical to open source compliance. I like to say that we have a stack of compliance solutions, from the very top, bird's eye view, down to very practical case-by-case solutions. OpenChain is at the top. We are the standard for key requirements in a quality open source compliance program. A little bit further down the stack, you have things like SPDX, about how to describe stuff in software packages, To-Do Group, about how to set up program offices, Fossology, about how to scan code. OpenStack, as the high level, the large-scale bird's eye view, is really about confirming a few key things. Do you have inbound processes? Do you have internal training, policy, internal processes? Do you have outbound processes? If a company thinks about this and can answer, yes, I have these processes, I do have this policy, I do have this training, it means that at key points in the company workflow, they've thought about open source compliance and done something. By doing that, it dramatically reduces the chance for errors, and that dramatically reduces the amount of inefficiency in the supply chain. It makes things quicker, simpler, and more efficient. And that means we save a lot of money. OpenChain is supported by a very diverse group of companies. A good example is looking at our Platinum members. They range from Adobe to Qualcomm to Comcast to Toyota, very different companies in very different areas. What they have in common is they use open source, they understand that open source compliance is important, and they're working together to make one standard for the key requirements of open source compliance. This means that we will all be asking and giving the same things, reducing complexity, reducing errors. Our Platinum members combined are a huge collection of economic powerhouses. The combined revenue of the Platinum members is over $750 billion per year, and they have a commensurate or equal impact on the global supply chain. Of course, OpenChain is much more than its Platinum members. We're far bigger than that. We include all types of organizations contributing and becoming conformant. Here is a quick overview of organizations with a publicly announced OpenChain conformant program. It's just as diverse as our board members, ranging from companies like GE Digital, to Siemens, to Nextcloud, to SUSE. SUSE, incidentally, are our latest conformant organization. We just announced them last week. It's fantastic to have more and more organizations of all types become part of our community of conformance. It shows just how dedicated companies are to doing the best they can around open source compliance. We've made a lot of progress since last year. We've got a lot of new international partners, ranging from law firms like Moorcrofts to certification authorities like TÜV-SÜD. We have new board members. Today, we're in the Toshiba offices, and just a few days ago, we announced that Toshiba is the latest platinum member, the latest board member of the OpenChain project. It's so exciting to welcome them on board. They've been contributing to the project since we began working in Japan, but now that they're a board member, we can do even more strategically together. And of course, we've got some great new community members. Outside of our platinums, we also have amazing companies like Microsoft and Panasonic contributing time, knowledge, and case studies. We have a move towards formal standardization. We're a de facto standard. It's an industry standard. We're working towards becoming an ISO standard so that it is a formal standard that can easily be included in things like legal contracts. It's very exciting. The project is maturing. It's going from really great idea to young and adopted de facto standard into mature and widely adopted official formal standard. Exciting things, well, case study, TUVSUD. TUVSUD is a certification authority. They're famous for doing things like certifying around automotive. Now they're moving into software, specifically open source, and they came to us first. They want to help people certify that they meet the key requirements of quality open source compliance programs. It suits us that there are certification authorities, and it suits them that there's a new way to apply their certification experience. Of course, we have a lot more announcements in the pipeline. We're going to make a series of new board member announcements in the next 2 months. Before we hit 2019, you're going to get some really great news about platinum members who are going to sit on our board and contribute to our strategic future. We're also going to make some really cool conformant organization announcements. Just like before, we're going to be looking at organizations from all areas, all markets, all sizes. Basically, everyone who wants to confirm that they're doing a great job around compliance is interested in OpenChain conformance, and they're beginning to work with us. We'll be making new partner announcements. We're looking at trying to make great partnerships so that anyone seeking support in any area around open source compliance can get quality support, specifically support that can help them around OpenChain. And with our focus on things like procurement, we're going to create an increasingly powerful position for adoption. Procurement is particularly exciting. By becoming a formal standard, by deployment by our board members, deployment by our community members, OpenChain is going to fall into the 2019 procurement cycle, and in doing so, it's going to help change the market to reduce errors, to reduce inconsistency, and to make sure that things are as successful as possible. It's a very bright future for this project, and you are a critical part of this. That's it. We're finished. OpenChain is an incredible project. OpenChain Japan Workgroup is an incredible workgroup. We have the power to change the global supply chain. You have the power to do that. Be ambitious. Be brave.